Good afternoon, B3L. It is Rotes DB here with another NFT market update. Sorry for the little bit of a delay. I managed to fracture my ankle last week, getting a little crazy with the kids on the trampoline. Lessons learned. Don't be so crazy on the trampoline, and things will be all right. Anyways, let's get to a market update here. Let's see what is going on. So far, a nice upswing in volume. That is a result of a lot of activity, a lot of noise, a lot of sell off that has resulted in some of the DGOD changes. We talked about this last week on Thursday. The announcement came out. I generally thought a lot of it was positive, not necessarily positive for floor price. We always know that the news events cause the sell offs on these NFTs, but overall it's been a kind of a spiraling sell off, and a lot more dramatic than I anticipated. We'll see how it progresses here as there's a lot of liquidity in there that has underwater. So blend loans. There's about 508 loans that are underwater. We also have Machi owning a couple hundred of these, or maybe it's 300 and 200. But either way, there's a lot of pressure on the DGOS floor, and that's kind of resulted in some of this decline. But market volumes, like I said, they're up, trending upward, looking good. Kind of the first time we've seen above 10K in basically a month. So sometimes volume is not always good in the sense of what type of volume it is, but good to draw some attention into the market. Market share, we see that Blur has regained some of that market share lost over the last couple of weeks. Of course, that is, again, a result of larger projects trading heavier volumes. Daily unique NFT buyers, we had a bit of a upward trend there for a duration of time. A little bit of down, and then we're back up. We're in that just below 7,500 range. We want to get to probably 10K and above. We've been in this trough now really since mid-April, and it's much less than where we were previously. So most of the losses have occurred on OpenSea, as that's where most of the traders are. Not as many kind of free mint meta projects, etc., that have gone, and those are typically the ones that we see the most wallet activity on. And until those return, we're going to see this. So the calm of the summer here is really kind of set in. WETH to bid activity has leveled off. We were downtrend over the last week, and then this past few days here, we've been hovering right in this 70-75% range. Again, I want to see this probably closer to 60, so we're not far off, but a little bit more healthy market activity there. Blue chip index continues to trend downward pretty consistently. This chart has almost looked the same every time we look at it. Very consistent on a downward trend here. Really consistent on the 40-45% off range. So as we look at this every 5-month cycle as it's rolling, we're continuously losing about 40%. NFT Statistics put out an interesting tweet there to show what projects have done over the last 6 months and the amount of loss. I'm going to do a similar deep dive on that. Just look at some average prices year over year, 6 months, 3 months, monthly, and just kind of compare some of those projects. So I'm going to try and dig into that here tonight, and I'll be firing off some tweets there. But I think that might be an interesting look just to see where things are, and to kind of provide that context and gauge. It's been a long-term narrative that NFTs will go. 90% of projects will go to zero, etc. And ultimately that's kind of what's happening. Now, of course, it's not all doom and gloom, right? We've seen some projects that be quite successful in developing and building and producing their brands, and they're going to be the ones that emerge as we kind of pull out of this deep bear cycle, and we'll continue to produce some outstanding products or businesses, and we'll see some of the ownership levels and floor prices kind of rebound from there. So that's what we want to identify and look for. 7-day action on blue chips, captains, kennels, both the only ones that are up. Punks again, anomalies on the punk charting and the floor price charting. I'm ever working on that process to evaluate floor price. Again, it's a bit of a mathematical process, and when low volumes are low, you're going to see some chaotic measures on there. So I'm going to continue to work there. But you can see DGOD's down 50%, Doodles 8, and Moonbirds 7. Of course, I think Doodles were up previous as well as Moonbirds. So just a kind of a return of gains, but it's DGODs are the attention there, down 50% from where they were previously. When we talked about the launch last week, so pretty significant downturn. And anytime when any of these projects kind of launch or announce something and try to deliver, that's when the big sell-off is. I don't know if the buyer sentiment is that something earth-shattering is going to happen, that it's going to be a drop of ApeCoin or anything like that we've seen in the past that's going to deliver this foundational wealth. I don't expect that we're going to see that, and with that, we have to adjust our expectations on buying projects up into these pumps, or if we are doing so, we got to make sure that if you're playing that short-term action, you're selling in advance, because the expectations never meet the reality, which is tough, and it happens again and again, and it's a cycle that it doesn't seem like anyone's learning from. So mid-cap index, very similar to what we've seen on blue chip, maybe a bit better on the mid-cap in the sense that it's not down the 60% that we had been seeing. It's now only at a 50%, but it's almost leveling off, as you can see over the last 2 weeks here. So it's a little bit more positive. If we look at the mid-cap, heavy metal up 40%. Of course, that's in anticipation of Yuga games and actions there, so that could drive some attention. Killer Bears, Quirkies, Crypto Dick Butts up. Some of the previous losers as well. Rango, Invisible Friends, and Digididaku are down. And then looking at profit percentage, we kind of almost peaked last week there at the 45-50% range. Still looking not bad in the 47% range. We've seen as low as the 30-35% in profitable sales. This is looking at all sales. This is looking at sales before fees, and that's fees are the bigger hit. You can see though the volume of profit is a little bit more significant in the negatives, and that's likely due to some of the DGOD losses. Market activity, top 25 wallets. Again, driving less than 50% of the market activity. Good to see. At the worst period that we've seen, early June, it was most and the majority of the activity. So we want to see that it's not just a few whales every day that are driving the activity. Blend continues to be quite involved in market volumes as well. And here's that floor price activity on what we saw for DGODs and the announcement here and the sell-off. And then a bit of a regain, but then further losses here. Kind of a bit of a walk back on the simplification of the art. I think it's cleaner, but one thing is that nothing really ultimately new got delivered to holders. They did provide additional looks of their DGOD, and I thought that was kind of creative. And it does cost dust, but dust was provided to DGODs and stake DGODs. So, and then in 3 months' time, this will be a free transition for holders. And then they also announced the points system there with a lot of rewards to be able to go back to holders that have dust and staked DGODs. So I think overall it should be good. And also to note that UTs are down in that 1 ETH range, which is quite low for them as well. So they're in the process of transitioning to the Ethereum blockchain from Polygon. So we'll see that happen here in the near future, I believe. So look for that. I think that'll be good for UTs, and in time we should be able to recover, or UTs and DGOD should be able to recover from this. Now on to news. I know this is going a little longer than normal, but lots to catch up on. So DGods, we talked a lot about what's happened there. Also to announce that Snowfro has an open edition on its way. I believe the 24th is the mint, roughly about $18 per item. About 70,000 did the DK Motion one. These are really kind of like, I think it was best put as, collectible posters. Sometimes these can evolve into more, and so if you're interested in the collection of the art from an artist like DK or Snowfro, that's when you make the buy on these open editions. And then if something happens where they become more, then that's a positive and a benefit. But I wouldn't ultimately rely on that as being your motivation, right? So that's the way I look at all of these. Even though that these latest two I think are coming from two of the bigger artists in this space, especially the Snowfro one. Snowfro edition's been kind of compared to something like friendship bracelets and that kind of degree. So maybe a little bit more of a move on the Snowfro Open Edition. So one to look for, but again, I'm looking at as a collectible above and beyond all. Some anticipated art mints coming on. The art meta seems to be doing the best here in recent time. Obviously with the PFPs and a lot of the blue chips suffering some losses. Art has gained a bit of attention. Sam Spratt, the artist behind, sorry, it's escaping me, but the skulls, they have the Monument game coming out, which will result in prizes, etc. This is a pretty high end mint. I believe it's around 3.3 ETH. So look at that as a kind of a bigger play. It's also a lower supply. Larva Labs has a voxel glyphs, which is really an access pass to a DAO, but also coming from Larva Labs. Interesting. I've seen kind of mixed reviews on this, both positive and negative. And then Michael Chan, Boys of Summer, has 3x already here today, 0.12 mint. It's trading around 0.33 last check from me. And then also in the news here, we have Sugartown from Zynga coming out, blockchain NFT game. Obviously, Zynga with some massive games in this space, so this will be an interesting one to watch. That is all for me here today. We'll catch you again soon. Take care, and we'll see you soon.